Hey Tappers, this is Mark from Faith on Tap. Today we're re-venturing into a concept of hate. Can we and may we actually hate another person? It's difficult and uncomfortable terrain for sure, and mucking around in hate can be troublesome.
Hatred is toxic. I cannot like someone and still respect them, still appreciate a point of view that is different from mine, not like their point of view. But hatred is a whole different ballgame. Hatred feels dark.
Some good news is, as we get older, we can overcome or sidestep opportunities for hate.
I would like to think I've grown. Everything is in the past, but I find myself no longer hating or even no longer not liking people, because usually my hatred and or my dislike for someone is because of some type of a derogatory offense towards me and or towards society in general.
And we'll go even further so far as identifying this origin story for hating someone.
Hatred does, to me, has a little bit of a vein of selfishness in it, and I find it hard to find in the scripture where Jesus said, hate someone.
Join us as we follow a few rabbit trails, exploring those uncomfortable stories that have the capacity to bring hate to the forefront. And then let's get to the heart of the gospel and see where hate goes then, today, on Faith on Tap. Here we go. We are at Woodbury Brewing Company in Woodbury, Connecticut, so surprisingly. And we are going to be, Liz is very happy. I've had a disappointment in beer here. I looked at their whole list and they had their typical 63 IPAs, 2 lagers and Pilsner. I go, give me a Pilsner, what do I have to lose? I have no feeling in life anyways. So I had that, and it was a Pilsner. It tasted like water. Liz had a cider because when there's no stout, she had a cider. And how was your cider?
It tasted like a cider. It was perfectly average.
So, yeah. So I drank through the lager and go, how come you guys don't have a stout? And he said, oh, we have a stout. We have a new stout. We just got it. It's not in our menu.
Yeah, it's just been sitting here minding its own business, and you two morons didn't figure it out.
So I said, that's unfortunate. So he goes, you know what? Let me give you a free sampling, a 5-ounce sampling. And it was really good. Then I had another, I don't know what the name of it, but it's a good stout.
I don't even care.
It's good.
It's called stout.
And that's the voice of Mr. IPA. What delicate IPA did you have?
I enjoyed this evening the Yummy Bear IPA.
He's my pastor.
BEER, Yummy Bear.
But the illustration definitely has a purple gummy bear next to it.
The crowd is us. And I think
And 4 other people.
Oh, 4 other people. Yeah, so this is going to be...
just got their food and probably don't want to talk to us at
this is going to be an interesting night of questioning, so stay tuned for some interesting talk here. The question, though, we're going to ask will be a fun one, or a very sad one. I don't know. The question is, who is someone that you hate, or if you do hate someone, and basically why? So are we going to have people say, no, I don't really hate anyone, or will they give some stories?
Again, politics. I think people will say they won't talk about anyone necessarily close to them unless they've been recently divorced or something. They'll go politics instantly.
What do you think, Dennis?
I think hatred will come in the form of crimes against morality. I think if somebody has suffered I don't want to get dark and deep, but like sexual abuse or...
Like a direct one?
Direct or affecting immediate family, I think it's very common and very easy to hate in that context.
Well, I'll go off the reservation and say that the people will say, no, there's no one I really hate. I might not like people, but there's no one I hate. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, maybe they'll be like, I hate a concept or a quality, but they won't name a person. Is that what you're saying?
Well, so in other words, you agreeing with what I say? You want to change your opinion?
I'm trying to clarify if that's what you mean, man, because I think they're still going to go political.
All right, so let's go to have some slim pickings and see what they have to say. Is there anyone, would you say, that you hate?
No one that I hate. Definitely strongly dislike a lot of people.
What's the difference between strongly dislike and hate?
Well, hate comes from, I feel like, something personal. Has to come from something a little bit more deeply rooted than just not liking an action or the way someone looks or
So disagreeing with
that.
someone
Is
you're
not
gonna
necessarily
hate
hating someone. if
What
you
would it take to
disagree.
hate someone, do you think?
A personal attack, probably.
Okay.
Something,
to you
something
or a
like
family member?
like direct. It'd have to be direct, intentional,
Right.
things like that. But yeah, no, hating people. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
Living
So
on
who's
the
someone you
same
really
planet.
dislike then?
Yeah.
Without giving a full name.
I would say there's a good amount of politicians and marketers that I don't like.
Politicians. Okay.
Politicians and marketers I don't like because marketing, again, it's a little bit of a lot. Like working sales,
so
things
what
like
is-
that.
what
It's
is
a
it
little
that-
manipulative.
Oh, those are two different things, though. What is it about politicians that you don't like? Certain politicians.
At least in the United States, is that a handful of people speak for the rest.
So that they're speaking for the masses, but you don't agree with what they're saying.
And from what I understand and see, a lot of people that I've seen also don't agree. More people than I would think do agree, so it's hard. I have my own little feelings about the Electoral College and things like that, and how that differs from the popular vote and how different. voices
But that's
don't get heard and
more
things like that.
political. But
Yes,
I'm talking about
political.
individual level.
Individual,
Could you dislike someone that you don't know personally? Do you think?
absolutely.
Or can you hate
No,
someone?
you can't hate someone you don't know personally or hasn't done any wrong by you or anyone you know.
But you
or
can
things like
dislike
that.
someone.
You
do
can
you
dislike
dislike
that
the person, or you dislike what he or she does?
what he or she does.
So it's their
you can't hate
actions.
a schizophrenic person for being vindictive because what they see is what's real.
That's cool. I like that.
So I mean, every person is different. What is real to them might not be real to you. So can't hate somebody for what is real to them,
All
but you can if what's real to them is a directly insult or like attack to your person, character, your family, anything like that.
Do you think someone? Would you say someone would hate you? Is there any reason someone would hate you?
Why anyone would hate me? No, I don't think so. There's definitely reasons to strongly dislike me. There's definitely reasons to strongly like me, but that goes for every single person ever.
Okay. Is that
Hate
because
me?
of
I don't
you?
think so.
Is that because of your personality, or is there something else?
Yeah, I mean, if I don't, the root of all problems in to what I believe is like, oh, there's two people. One of them's, well, like, you're not me. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm not someone else, we differ in some sort of shape or form, and that difference is enough to get someone to not like you.
So to hate would mean that they'd have to cause something physically done to you.
Not necessarily physically. It could be mental or something like that. Again, it could just be like it's easier to. I think it's easier to hate someone that's like can't hate without loving someone. So essentially, someone that you would have to be close to could do something hard enough to betray you.
So hate and love are very closely associated. You think?
Absolutely, 100%.
So some people say that the opposite of love is apathy.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
Yes.
But the opposite of hate and is not love because they're closely associated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks for sharing.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
So here I am. My name's Dennis, and your name is
Ashley.
Ashley. It's nice to meet you. So the first question is this: you ready?
Sure.
Is there someone you hate, and why? Now,
Yes.
since this is not video, if you watched everyone in her group kind of turn and giggle,
There is someone I strongly dislike, yes.
is it dislike or is it hatred?
No, I hate. If I was driving a large military vehicle, I would speed up to run this person over.
And can I ask why?
They're just not a very good person. Like, they like to stir the pot and create drama.
Okay.
And then become the victim when they've done that. And then won't take accountability for making everybody else feel like and I called them out on it and they didn't like it and now we're enemies.
So they hate you as much as you hate them.
Probably.
Okay. You said they're not a very good person.
No.
They're not. But then you said if you were in a military truck, you wouldn't slow down and run them over. So in your hatred, what kind of person does that make you?
Oh, I'm probably no better than that person, which is fine.
Is it
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
tit for tat?
Yeah.
It's all It's all good.
I mean, it's all on the same level.
It is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what if they hit you first with the military vehicle? Then what?
I hope they kill me, because I'm going to get out and beat the shit out of them.
You're my favorite so far. Oh my gosh.
They better do it right the first time.
All right. So you're passionate, obviously. There's a streak of passion in you. So do you love as equally as intense as you hate?
Maybe, sometimes, sure.
Can you give me an example? No. Awesome. Ashley, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Ben.
So the question is there a person that you hate?
Yeah.
And who and or why?
They were very, very cold, but not a very nice person growing up. Left some scars on myself along with a lot of people that we, grew up with.
Sounds like somebody close to you.
No, not really. I mean, we went to school together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. And so
Yeah, it was just bullying.
So
stuff like
to
that.
this day, you still feel that vein of hatred towards him.
Sure.
Now, is it a military vehicle type of hatred?
No.
No.
No, it's more of a hatred as like, I hate what was said and done, but I hope that his anger had kind of dissipated over time as we grew older. I cut ties after school.
Right. Can I even push in a little bit more to say, is it the person that you hate or
The
action
actions.
and or what transpired
Yeah.
that you really hate?
Yeah, well, I mean, 99.9% of the time, a person's actions are a direct reflection of who they are, right? So I think with judging a person by their actions, you're getting a pretty good look at who they are as a person, right? The way they conduct themselves out in public, behind closed doors, things of that nature. So, to me, he was probably a broken child growing up, right? Thus had to, bully me about several things when we were kids, and it left a lasting impact, something that even as an adult, I still struggle with. And, but I think it's just that. I think he was a broken child, probably grew up in a broken household. I don't know. But I do know that the hatred for him stemmed directly from his actions.
Now, do you find yourself kind of parlaying that hatred to other bullies or other situations that you see where bullying's taking place or things like that?
Absolutely, yeah. It's like the way it made me feel as a child, right? When I see it done to other, kids,
Right.
and stuff, and even adults and stuff like that. I think that being cold to another person because you're not okay with yourself is a direct reflection of your own insecurities. You know what I mean? It has a direct reflection and a direct correlation to the type of person they were and are.
Thank you so much, man. That's
Yeah.
very insightful.
Okay, let's hear about this.
To the point where, I'd rather not see them. One being my cousin Steven, who lived with us from the time he was in 6th grade until we both turned 18. We're 6 months apart, so he's like a brother. And he got himself in trouble with the law repeatedly, and when he was getting out of jail, he decided that he needed some help, and no one would take him in, so I did.
Wow.
And he lived with me for a little over a year, but after a while he stopped paying rent. He started getting involved with this girl who was doing crack, and I'm like, dude, I want to help you, but I can't tolerate this.
How old were you both around at this time?
Oh, this is 2 years ago.
Oh, so it's recent. Oh,
Very
my goodness.
recent. Grown adult male, still trying to figure out life.
Oh my gosh.
Highly institutionalized.
Okay.
So it's just tough, and it sucks because it ended on very bad terms, and to the point where I don't know that I could be in control of my emotions if he was around.
Yeah. Oh, I get that. Put this out there. You seem like a very thoughtful person, in that you seem very, very caring. So, kind of in a way, you're losing your cousin because of what he did for you. How does that work for you, emotionally? I mean, it's been a while.
A lot of therapy and some good compartmentalization techniques,
Fair.
which isn't always healthy, we know, but sometimes there are times where you don't have time to deal with something, so you compartmentalize it.
Sure.
And the risk with that is always that one day it's going to flood over.
Yeah.
Like the box is going to burst open and then you're just going to be dealing with it.
Now, I've run into people that I always would call emotional vampires, where they just drain you. Especially people who are like open and sensitive like you. Do you feel like there is like some credence to a thought like this? That he's just like, he is a taker and not a giver in any way? Because you seem more like a giver.
Yeah, I mean, one could say that was accurate. I think that, unfortunately, we all have to be takers on some level. There are just people in this world who choose to try to balance that scale or have the give outweigh the take. So,
where do you fall on that continuum?
I try to keep things as balanced as I can, and it ebbs and flows. There are times where I find myself weighing heavier on the take side of the spectrum, and there are times after that where I try to be on the give side of the spectrum because I have the ability to.
Good. That's very, very healthy. I like that thought. So I really appreciate it. This is a wonderful answer to the question. Thank you.
And we're back. Hey, Liz, how you feeling today?
Like I just outran my existential dread for now.
Okay, I guess that's a good thing.
Is it? Like, can you explain the goodness?
No, I'm not going to explain anything. I just let her talk, and I nod and smile. And
you don't
welcome to 40 some odd years of nodding and smiling.
I was going to say you don't like to sleep on the couch.
And that's the voice of the Rogue of Renewal. Silence.
There's a tension there that I enjoy. A rogue.
Yeah, I know you liked Rogue.
And renewal. Because I don't understand it, I'm going to embrace it.
Renewal.
But a rogue of renewal. Am I against renewal, or
you're going the sideways path to renewal?
Yeah, you're one of those rough guys that can lead people to Jesus. How's that?
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah, I knew you'd like it that way.
Rogue, rough, same word.
We were just discussing our topic today. It's an interesting one. It's all about hate. And we asked, as you heard, is there a person that you truly hate? And what does that say about you? And, well, we'll start with you, Dennis. You had two people that you talked about hate.
I did. Ashley, when I asked the question, she was with a group of 4 people. When I asked her the question of, is there someone you hate and why? The other 3 people in her group just kind of laughed and turned away. And Ashley shared that she does hate someone. And if she was riding in a military vehicle and saw that person, she would not slow down and proceed to run them over.
Hope it's not me.
Right. And so, yeah, there was a deep hatred, I guess, from her perspective anyway. And it seemed like through the conversation, the person hated her equally. And so there was a mutual hatred of one another.
Yeah, that sounds lovely.
Yeah. And then Ben, when I talked to, he hated a bully in school that kind of caused a lot of trouble for him and some of his friends. And so there was a hatred, and he was a little bit more reflective of hating kind of the bullying a little bit more and not necessarily the person so much.
Right.
But there was still, he used the word hatred in that.
Yeah, he did.
I spoke to Jonathan, and he's a gentle soul. And so he couldn't even bring himself to say he hated anyone, So Jonathan said that, it wasn't hate, but someone that he currently just very much disliked was actually his cousin, who ended up living with him for a while and made his life very, very difficult. They were pretty much the same age, only a handful of months apart. So they were raised pretty much as brothers, and just things got squirrely and out of hand, and his cousin was involved with drug culture and all these other things that made it difficult for Jonathan. So it just really made it difficult for Jonathan to, have the life that he should have had, because he had to deal with this very disruptive person. And so he still doesn't talk to him to this day, even though it's a very small and fairly tight family. So it's just kind of sad, and because he seems like a real sweet gentleman. So
I had an interesting talk with Darius, and he basically stated he doesn't hate anyone. He just hates too strong of a word, but he does strongly dislike someone. The basically distinction he put on, as you heard, is that unless he personally harms you or a family member, it's hard to hate someone. And maybe a personal attack would change that. Then he proceeded to say how he hates politicians, and which would go against the personal attack. But I think he needed to say that anyway. But he just said that it's not worth hating anybody unless they really cause a disservice to the family. So I think kind of that's where my launching point go, because I think I even mentioned early before we said that they would dislike someone, not hate someone. I think, and you can disagree or agree with me, the difference between the two is a matter of degrees. When you dislike someone, there's a mild discomfort, a disapproval. It's situational, usually tied to different behaviors and traits. Whereas if you hate someone, that's deep, it's intense, it's very emotional, involves strong animosity and resentment, a desire to harm. I think there's a clear distinction between the two. You guys agree?
Yeah, I would say so. Hatred is toxic. I cannot like someone and still respect them, still appreciate a point of view that is different from mine, not like their point of view. But hatred is a whole different ballgame. Hatred feels dark.
Oh, and well, hatred is dark.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to get asked that question, I think I know what you'll say, Pastor. Is there someone that you hate?
I would say that there were people that I've hated in the past. I'm hoping through my evolution of spiritual maturity that hatred is no longer a hatred. It's not even a dislike anymore.
Is it not a dislike because it was in the past, or is that you've grown?
I would like to think I've grown. Everything is in the past, but I find myself no longer hating or even no longer not liking people. Because usually my hatred and or my dislike for someone is because of some type of derogatory offense towards me and or towards society in general. So first of all, part of hatred is a little bit selfish when it's one-on-one. When I hate somebody because they wronged me, there's a little bit selfishness in that. There is some point of selfishness in that because they've harmed my family. Hatred has a little bit of a vein of selfishness in it, and I find it hard to find in the scripture where Jesus said, hate someone.
Well, didn't he say you should hate your mother and father?
He did, but I don't believe it was in the hatred of what we're speaking of. Love your enemies.
But hate your mother and father. There are people who really, at a point, I probably hated them. Looking back now, it's distant. I don't have that feeling. One would be a teacher in my old school that she was caught changing my students' grades so she could she got more money from the town by doing that. Long story. And she went in and changed the grade. I then objected to, much to the chagrin of the principal and everything else. It really got ugly. I ended up having to go to court because the Board of Ed was happy that someone finally stood up to this person, and I had to appear in court. Long story short, she was found guilty and she got promoted in the town of Waterbury to a higher job with more pay.
Waterbury, that explains
it's Waterbury, Connecticut. Yeah, that's my story.
So you hate her?
No, I don't. I don't hate her.
Dislike her?
Now
is it her
now
or
I don't
is it her
remember
actions?
I don't really remember much. I mean, I just remember the story. I don't remember the feeling. It's not like I have that urge to be mad at her.
But it was frustrating. And
at that time, it was every day was terrible. I'd go in and there was a clan that would just against me because they liked her, and
good grief.
It was weird.
You know, hatred really is. It's a commitment, I think, on the part of.
It's people. Hard.
It really is.
Yeah.
There is when you mention somebody hurting your family, like no one has hurt my family. So I haven't experienced that degree of dislike and or hatred. Am I capable of it? I have to say yes. I mean, I think we're all capable of that dark, I want to kill you hatred.
It is dark and it takes energy. And I think some people, there's only so much hate you can have. And you can see people, it's like, they don't hate me as much anymore because they hate someone else more now. So,
right. Yeah.
So do you think anyone hates you guys? Yeah,
absolutely.
As a pastor, they hate you, or
yes,
as a person?
I'm not sure you can delineate, separate the two, but I know that people dislike. Let me not use the word hate because that feels very accusatory, but I know that there are people throughout the years that very greatly dislike me.
Okay. All right.
It's like, so your experiences were when you were very young, and yet you don't have any experiences of hatred as you're older. So is hatred really an emotion of the young and or of the extreme?
I think that's a good point. I think we can handle those situations better as we get older. And someone does the same thing now, you might just get angry for a moment, or
just
you might call
brush it off, or
it's like whatever. But when you're young, all those emotions are raw, and if you don't grow, then you can continue hating.
Shoot political activists that you don't agree with.
Yeah, for speaking the truth. But on to other things. I'm wondering, and this is kind of like what you just talked about doing a little deeper. So when someone hates someone, is that purely emotional, or can you hate someone from an intellectual or spiritual context?
I think from a spiritual context, you can't hate the person. You're to hate the action, behavior, and or societal.
But if they have a very dark spirit that's just very bad, can you spiritually? I mean, we are told to hate sin, So are we to love Satan?
Well, no. Satan is a completely different entity than a person.
But we can spiritually hate Satan.
I think we can.
Yeah.
And I think Scripture has enough evidence of the darkness and or demonic and or wrong, bad personality of that, where there is a hatred because Satan ruined everything.
Yeah.
Genesis chapter 3.
Oh, intellectually. Can we just, because of what they stand for, it's not emotionally. It's like they're against this, and this, therefore I will hate them.
I think that type of hatred, again, is a maturity thing. So the younger or immature, and I don't mean that in a derogatory sense, I just mean that in a coming along or growing sense. The immature would be more prone to use that word hatred, where the mature would be able to put it into boxes and be able to separate maybe action from people, and or from a spiritual perspective, understanding what the Scripture says, that we don't fight against flesh and blood, but we fight against principalities and authorities in the spiritual realm. And so if we can look at it from that perspective, we would tend to hate people less and hate the spiritual darkness that is compromising people's attention, people's behavior, people's perspective of what is right and wrong.
So you're saying then, as a Christian, we should not hate Hitler or Lenin. Do you agree with that?
I would. I would agree that hating the person is irrelevant. I mean, you can hate the person, so what does that do? You hate the policy, the procedure, the ideology, the perspective. That's a whole different thing, because now you can begin to change those things. But when you hate a person, there's two things: you ignore or you kill. I mean, really, when you hate a person, those are the two options I think that you have. There might be others, but I'm open to discussion.
Yeah. The famous adage is, the opposite of love is not hate, it's apathy. Would you agree with that? Or do you think there's nuance in that?
There is nuance, but I agree with it. Apathy in a form is a form of hatred. When you don't care enough to get involved, when you see something that is morally, ethically wrong, it could be construed as hatred, I think.
So if you just give up on someone and you just don't care anymore, you're apathetic towards that person, could that be hatred?
Giving up, I think, is different than not caring anymore. Sometimes you have to come to the point where there's no longer anything that you can do to help, to assist, to come alongside and lift up.
Well, I'm just thinking this, is it easier to go from love to hate or love to apathy? What's easier? To me, love to hate's easy.
I think it is, because it lacks any type of qualitative and quantitative.
It's just emotional.
Analysis. Yeah.
Yeah. It's purely emotional. Yeah. And you go, I love that person. I love that thing. They did a bad thing. I hate them. To be apathetic, it's like, I don't even care anymore. It's like you've had an endurance race and it's just, I'm done.
Okay. I would agree. I mean, apathy is, I'm done.
I guess the last question then would be, in practical steps for Christians to take and overcome hatred, even if it's justified. What can we do? What can we do? How do we lean on God?
Why do we hate? Do we hate a world leader because he's leading his country poorly? Or do we hate the person that has murdered a loved one? I mean, that is kind of a different.
Well, how would God answer both those situations?
He would tell us to love our enemy and do good to those who persecute us, which I hate in some contexts because that's really hard. Like if somebody came and hurt my children, hurt my wife, hurt my granddaughter, it would be difficult for me to be unhateful in my reaction.
Yet God demands that from us.
Unfortunately, yes.
How do we get through that situation of you hate someone? God doesn't want me to hate that, so I will try not to hate. How do you do that?
You know, I don't think there's any formula for such a thing. It really is you going to God and being honest and saying, God, I hate this person. Change my heart.
It's got kind of a formula. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, as far as formulas go,
Yeah.
but there's not, forgiveness and God has to do that.
And there still has to be a healing process involved in that.
There has to be a huge healing process.
Any last thoughts on hate?
There's a meme. I'm trying to find it, but I couldn't find it. Jesus says, you have to love everyone. And he says, well, even Gary? He says, so Jesus says, yes, even Gary. And then Gary says, suck it, guys. And he goes, Gary, this is not the time.
And that's a great way to conclude our podcast. Good night, everybody. Tune in next episode when you'll hear Dennis say,
I actually have a t-shirt that says, yes, I'm a pastor. Don't look so surprised.
Hey, awesome listener. If you're enjoying our podcast, give us a little love, like, share, follow, and snag this episode for later. It's the easiest way to keep the good times rolling and make our day. You're the best. Thank you.